What's up, y'all? This is Beyond Manifestors, where we dive deep into the depths of our souls. I'm Ro, a psychic medium life guide that helps those who are struggling and feel that they are beyond manifestors. And this is my spiritual awakening story. Come on in and get comfortable. Grab your favorite beverage, whether it's tea, coffee, or whatever you choose to drink. My spiritual awakening occurred through my search in life for more meaning of why we do what we do. That doesn't mean I didn't have spiritual experiences. I would have frequent trips of leaving my body, seeing ghosts, telepathically communicating. Because of this, I had to actually learn how to express more verbally. At a later age, I recognized those experiences for what they were, and I'll talk more about those in another video. See, I had a lot of shit going on when I was younger, and I was dealing with a lot in life. One was feeling like I didn't belong here on earth. I felt alone and abandoned. It was like I could understand everyone else, but they couldn't understand me at a deep core level. And it seemed like they didn't give a fuck enough to ask. Everything for them was surface level. From a young age, I was really good at reading people and seeing them through their mask. Like, how you gonna lie to me straight to my face? I felt like Drake's. I got fake people showing fake love to me straight up to my face. On top of me dealing with so many other traumas. I was dealing with alcohol, drugs, physical, and sexual abuse. Being an outfit at some point, I decided I should fit in, which led not to the best decisions. But hey, I was learning what it was like to fit in and be a conditioned human. And contrast is good. I was trying to share my experiences with others, but they were just looked at as fake or a figment of my imagination. So over time, I began to just shut that other part of me down. I started to be less like me and more like them. But honestly, that part of me got tired of feeling that way, struggling and not knowing who I truly was. Truly, I do believe my parents and siblings are a part of my soul family, my journey, purpose, and the real reason of why I'm here. See, I didn't want to be confined to the norm, the regular, a mediocre lifestyle, a way of living. I wanted to understand the magical, the mystical, the superhumans, and how I could not be stuck or suffer so much in life. As I continued my search, I was trying my best to navigate through this world. I started with and began with science. At the time, they didn't give me the inside answers that I was looking for. So I began to pay more attention to theology, religion, Christianity to be exact, God's will, and who was Jesus. Because I heard some not so normal that he was doing. I started to study everything I could find. How do I be like Jesus? How can I be close to God? What was the kingdom of heaven? The mind of Christ? Can I talk to God? And who the fuck was I in all of this? From here, I began to look into all things that will get me closer to God, regardless of the religion. And I found out some very interesting things. With this, my life slowly began to change as my level of thinking expanded. Really, as I became more aware of who I was. When I was at work, I met this guy named Chris, and I could say that he changed my life for the best. He led me to studying and seeing how our minds really worked. I became a scientist and a lab rat at the same time. I studied and experimented to prove that what I was learning wasn't a fluke in myself and others. I was on fire because I finally was beginning to understand it, us, me. Struggling with severe asthma at the time, I used what I knew and my asthma was healed. I could finally breathe again. And it finally happened. My awakening. I was frequently taking time out to talk to whatever name you choose to call the divine or your higher power. I asked this creator about love. And at that moment, I was washed over with a golden light. And it was like all of my sins were forgiven. It was something in me that released every weight. The shackles around my neck, feet, and hands fell away and disappeared like they never existed. I became a new man. All things became new and old things passed away. It's almost indescribable. I would walk outside and hear animals and insects' heartbeat. I could feel their love. It was like I didn't know how to hate anymore. My heart was fully open. I also became extremely intuitive and was really good at whatever I wanted to do. Speaking of sensitivity, I had to wear shades for years because the synthetic light affected my eyes, but the light of God didn't. All I wanted to do was chill with God, the presence, and the nature of who I truly am. What I didn't realize is this was a reactivation to my soul powers. At this point, I was living in the flow. I began to understand manifestation, synchronicity, and my true inner power. My life coach gave me the name Shifter. I guess that's what I had been doing my whole life, and it was seeping through my pores when I met her. I was shifting my consciousness and others around me, regardless if they knew it or not, and sometimes I was unconscious to it. But I had a bigger mission and purpose. Honestly, I really didn't know that she was psychic at the time, and that she was reading and picking up on my energy radiating from my aura. I was remembering who I was, but sometimes we need some guidance. During this process, I was able to get downloads about what I wanted to do next, where I should go, and what books to read. One day while sitting in the power of spirit, I got this message that once I complete a level of growth, if I didn't move consciously to the next, my soul will organize and orchestrate things to take me to that next level, regardless of the area. I was playing a new game of life, the Awaken. I eventually left the job that I only had so much expression in. I took a small severance package, even with bills still coming in. I decided I was going to go for it. I began to create a course to help others create and manifest better health, wealth, and relationships like I began to do. During this phase, I ran into so many challenges, but I learned a lot. And this was before AI and all the pre-made stuff you see now. I wrote and designed it. I learned a bit of code. I built the websites, funnels, autoresponders, and studied marketing. But as the money began to run out, I was faced with the decision to go back to work. I talked with my coach, and she helped guide me based on my current purpose at that time. I began the advantageous career of working with at-risk youth that deal with traumas who committed crimes that were court-ordered to be in our program. This was orchestrated by the divine, and where my newly budding spiritual abilities will be put on display. And y'all, it was great. Very fulfilling at first. Then I fell asleep. Back into the matrix I went. I then began to hear soft whispers from the divine. Again and again. But I didn't listen. Until they turned into divine yells, which led me to meeting my twin flame and having a Kundalini awakening. Life can be challenging when you aren't understood by others, but we don't have to do it alone. Click the link in my bio and give me a call, and I'll see you on the other side. If this is something you connected with, make sure you tune into the next video where I dive deeper into my Kundalini awakening and my twin flame. God bless.